All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Wahakwadash, Divine, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there, pushing the truth across the four corners of earth. I'm the brother Shaman from Great Millstone, St. Louis. I just wanted to do some quick edification on a topic. A lot of Christians like to misconstrue. They like to use to kind of try to crowbar apart the scriptures, all right? Because when you look at the Bible, one thing they'll say is there were alterations, there were mistakes, and there are some literary errors, but through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem, I was shot him in the great millstone. We can edify you on what that might be, and the correction that should be made on that through the spirit. All right, but for the most part, the scriptures are solid through and through. All right, and this is Numbers 11 and 1. This is on the topic of if the mixed multitude went into Israel, because they'll try to say that the Israelites are no longer pure as they once were. We had a mixed multitude that came amongst us, and then we all went together into Israel, and then from there on they put their seed amongst us, we put our seed amongst them, and then we were all kind of a mixed bag of people. All right, and that's not the case. And even when you look at Esau, okay, you have certain Edomites who mingle amongst Jake or something, or the women will come up, but generally that's looked down upon. All right, because every nation, the men, either the men of a certain age or the men in general, they understand that if other men come around mingling their seed, bringing themselves amongst them, they're going to eventually try to take over. And that's why many places like where I'm at in the Midwest, these Edomites, they don't even, they'll completely disown the daughter if she deals with any kind of men outside of so-called white men. All right. But meanwhile, you look at us, you see, and it is some Edomite women who, mingle amongst Jay, but, for the most part, that's kind of a thing that's looked down upon. And when you look at our society, look at our women, just to show you the wickedness of this place, America. You got our women who mingle amongst Esau. They deal with Esau, then Esau shows them who he is, all right, after they have his child, and then they come back and bring that child amongst their own people. All right, that's why the scriptures later on, it talks about the tares and the wheat, because you got a lot of Edomites and other nations that are mingled amongst Israel. Like this chick who was up for election, Kamala Harris. They're talking about, I believe they said the mother was, man. Let me see. Let me pull this up real quick. Basically, she took I got it pulled up. Basically, she took the angle of that she was black, to try to get the election, to try to get the vote from so-called black people. But she's also up for vice presidency under weirdo Joe Biden, and she tried to play that she was black. Then she tried to play that she was Indian. Elam, according to the scriptures. All right, here's her father. More than likely, he's either he's either white or he's Indian. It's the jury is out on that. You got many people from Jamaica, where he's from, who said she goes back to some of the white slave owners, through him. But he kind of looks like an Elamite, so only the angels know. Here's the mother, which again, she looks like an Elamite. I'll say it like that because Indian just means savage. That's a word that Esau came up with. All right, and here's the husband, so-called Edomite. So, it's and here what does it say that? Yeah, it's looking real kind of sketchy if she's actually black. But that's an angle that these other nations try to use to try to, and that's what Esau has opened the floor for them to say that they're any nation, because maybe they'll mingle in one or two women, and then they'll use them to gain leverage and grants and this and that. Look at that. That don't look like Jake. It don't look like that, but again, only the angels at the end of the day, the angels know. The angels know. Okay. It says, but jumping into the scriptures, it said, and when the people complained, it was Numbers 11 and verse 1. When the people complained, it displeased the Lord, and the Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled. And the fire of the Lord burnt among them, and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp. And the people cried unto Moses, and when Moses prayed unto the Lord, the fire was quenched. And he called the name of the place Taberah, because the fire of the Lord burnt among them. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting. And the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat? Right? And so, as you can see, Yahweh was Yahweh Shem Yahushua, he was pissed off because there was a lot of complaining. And after he had just did miracles to deliver us, all right, and going straight into the topic, now this word mixed, so you don't have any confusion on it, let's look up the word mixed. Where is that at? Yep. Mixed. The word here in the Lashon Kodash is asapasap. Asapasap. Collection, a rabble, a collective multitude. Okay, then here in the lexicon they show, it says what? A mixed crowd scraped together of men of all kinds who added themselves to the Israelites, right? So we can see that these are people who are not Israelites. All right, and this is the people who are not Israelites. So we can see, you have people amongst us, which, if the Lord would have willed it, these people would have came amongst Israel, and then maybe they would have received a blessing, by being peaceful while they mingled amongst us. But it wasn't through the will and power of the Most High, so it didn't happen. All right, Israel, it was supposed to receive certain things in no other place. It tells you that in Romans 9. All right, and it says they fell that in the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting, and the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat? Right? We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, and the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. All right, so they're going over all these things. And Israel is also following after them and weeping as well. All right, just like Israel always does, they follow after the heathen. And then it tells you, goes on through the story, gives you the description of manna which was given to them. It also tells you how the Lord gave us quails. Because basically people say what? Shall the flocks and the herds be slain for them to suffice them? Or Salaki. Salaki. Or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them to suffice them? And the Lord said unto Moses, is this the Lord's hand waxed short? Thou shalt see now whether my word shall come to pass unto thee or not. And then Moses chooses 70 elders, basically to go forth and rule over, Israel, and kind of give them guidance. It tells you about the quails which were brought from the sea. And we know that the quails and the manna, that's the chicken and the biscuits that our people love. But jumping straight to the point, verse 32, it said, and the people stood up all that day and all that night and all the next day, and they gathered the quails. He that gathereth least gathereth 10 homers, and they spread them all abroad for themselves round about the camp. And while the flesh was yet between their teeth, ere it was chewed, the wrath of the Lord was kindled against the people, and Yahweh smote the people with a very great plague. And he called the name of that place, he called it that word, which I'm going to say in the Hebrew is Kwa Bara Wath. Wath Awa. Kwa Bara Wath Wathawa. because they buried the people that lusted. All right, and the people that lusted, we can see going back, is the mixed multitude. The mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting. So those people, that mixed multitude, was killed off right here. Okay, and the people journeyed from Wathawa unto Hazeroth and abode at Hazeroth. And when you look up this word, because I got it written down right here, it says what? Graves of lust. Graves of lust. Coming from this word, Quabar, grave. And then this word, desire, lust, greedily. Yep, it's talking about the mixed multitude, basically, that was amongst us. From this point on, it's only talking about Israel. All right, so the Lord saw, he saw that there was people amongst us. He saw that it was raising up shit and basically putting hell on Moses, and he got rid of them. Okay, so hey, that's just a quick edification on that topic. If they ever try to use that, you know exactly where to jump to. Call Allah Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai by Shem Rakakadash. Lord willing is edifying. Shalom.